Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Window on the World, today hosted by me, Hector Moreno. Joining us today is also the MSSU KCU student, Grace Chang, who is going to tell us about her home country, Taiwan. How are you, Grace?
I'm really good today, thank you.
Well, good to hear. So, I'm glad to have you here, to be honest. To start, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? So, where are you from? How old are you? What are you studying? Which year? Which are your hobbies?
Okay, so I'm 19 years old. I'm from Taiwan, and I came here last fall. So this is my first year over here, and I'm a freshman. And my major is biomedical sciences.
I see. Which is your hometown?
Oh, it's Tainan, called Tainan City, the southern part of Taiwan.
Oh, got it. Is it close to the capital?
No, the capital is on the opposite end. The capital is Taipei, and it's at the northern, we're at the south.
Got it. So could you tell us a little more about your hometown, Tainan?
Yeah, so Tainan used to be the capital city in the past, so it's more of a historical city. We have a lot of architecture that shows history, especially at the time when Japan came here to colonize for like 50 years, and then so it has become a really tourist attraction site. And also the food, it's really good. We have a lot of old streets, and then food such as like stinky tofu, or like some other foods such like tofu with, also tofu, sorry, and with like pearls, and then with some kind of soup. So yeah, there is a lot of options.
I see. Can you describe us a little how is that stinky tofu? I'm curious.
Right, so it's kind of like fermented tofu. So it gives off we call it quotation stinky smell, but it's not really that stinky to us. But I know a lot of foreigners that came to Taiwan say they don't really want to try it. Yeah, and aside from that, I just remember there's also the oyster cake. It's like, do you know about oysters?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you put oysters into like bun shape and then also fry it to become like an oyster cake. Yeah, and also beef noodle soup is also very famous around there. So yeah.
Wow, sounds tasty, to be honest. Also, about your country, are there any interesting, I mean, you mentioned that your hometown is very touristic, but what about landscapes, like natural?
In terms of landscape, I wouldn't say there is really like unique landscapes in Tainan. I would say when I really want to briefly talk about the geography of Taiwan, we would divide in from the middle. So on the east coast, it would be like mountains, but on the west coast, which is where Tainan, Taipei, and other like cities are, it's more of just like flat land.
I see. Also, well, you mentioned that the capital is here and your hometown is at the other side.
Right.
Is it hard to move through your country?
I wouldn't say so. So if by drive, it takes probably 4 to 4.5 hours, but there's high-speed railway train. It only takes less than 2 hours to travel from capital city to Tainan.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about, I mean, flying from the outside to Taiwan? Is that, well, from Taiwan and to the outside, and from the outside to Taiwan. Is that complicated?
No, it's not at all. So we have an international airport on the northern side. It's in a city called Taoyuan, and the airport is called Taoyuan International Airport, and basically we can go anywhere as we want. I
see. So tell us, I mean, interesting landscapes you mentioned, and also the traveling. I mean, I'm saying because Taiwan is actually a country that I would like to visit one day. But, well, I know that it's kind of complicated because of barrier language. Can you tell us a little about the language you speak in Taiwan?
Right. I would say the majority of people speak Mandarin. The elder generation, though, they speak a dialect of Mandarin called Taiwanese, but the younger generation usually don't know how to speak it. Yeah, and also there's small, like minor population of that speaks Hakka. It's also a dialect of Mandarin, but the majority speaks like I do, just Mandarin.
I see.
Yeah.
Also, well, I must say you have a very good English level.
Thank you.
So that makes me wonder, is it English speaking common in Taiwan, or is it easy for Taiwanese to learn it?
I would say it's compulsory. So for all students, they would have to learn English starting from elementary school and then continue on to college. So I would say it's kind of like our second language. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I already kind of imagined that. Well, now that we talk about language, we talk about food, what about if we see something born and talk about politics?
Politics? Okay, sure. What do you want to know about politics?
Which kind of government system do you have in Taiwan?
Okay, I'm personally not really into politics, but we're a democratic country, so we can vote for all the representatives, including like the presidents, and also I'm really not familiar with it, but just like in every process for every representative from like we would say a specific small area within a city to a city, and then to probably a bigger part of like within a few cities, and then the whole country like all has political officials, right? And we can all vote for them.
I see.
Yeah.
How often are like the presidential elections?
Sorry, I didn't catch your question.
So, how often are the presidential elections? How many years are like the terms?
Right. If I didn't remember wrong, it should be 4 years, but yeah, if this president wants to also if this president wants to go into the next round, like for the next 4 years, they can also become a candidate, but just 8 years is the maximum.
Got it. Now that's interesting. Also, well, there is something, many people here don't know a lot of Taiwan here in the United States, but something that it's fairly known, it's like the complicated relationship between Taiwan and mainland China. Can you explain us a little about that?
I would say that what you see on the news is usually more exaggerated. It doesn't really affect the people like normal lives, but basically the brief history is that probably like 100 and something years ago, China was kind of divided into kind of two parties. One that under Sun Yat-sen kind of like fought I'm so not sure about the history part, but I can give you a vague image. Kind of like fought for 12 times and brought like certain groups of people to Taiwan, and that's kind of how it sort of divided at that time. And then from then on, like China, they applied the communist party political rules, and then we do the democratic type, and then so that's how we're kind of divided then. And then from now on, China definitely has the intention of like wanting Taiwan to become part of their mainland country, but us and also we have two political parties, the Green Party and then the Blue Party, and then so the Green is more pro-democratic and independent from China, and then the Blue it's more towards China. And that's about it.
I see. Well, for sure it's an interesting and complicated political story. Good that you were able to resume it, because I know kind of a little about that.
Right.
And yeah, it's very complicated.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, before we go to a break, can you tell us a little about religion in Taiwan? Like, which are the main religions, for example?
I would say Buddhism probably is the main religion, since it has the history coming from China. But we are a very free country, so anybody can practice their own religion. And I would say Christianity is also a pretty big branch in Taiwan too.
I see.
Yeah.
Would you say Taiwanese are religious people or not that much?
Yes, I would say they're religious people. So there are a lot of temples in Taiwan. They're also like part of the history from China too. So in a way, they just kind of want to worship something. It doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be a human figure. Anything can be God for people, like probably a rock, a tree, anything that they can find spirit in, that they would say, oh, we can worship this thing and gain something. But I'm not really into the religion part, but I do know it ties into the everything within our lives.
I see. That's also a very interesting part. Well, it's okay if we go to a break?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, now Grace just tell us a little about her country, so we have to go to a break. We will be back in a few minutes. So I don't know, take a small nap since when we come back, she's gonna tell us a little more about herself and her experience here in America. I'm Hector Moreno. This is Window on the World, just on KGCS TV.
Welcome everyone to Missouri Southern State University, home of the Lions. Missouri Southern is a public university offering more than 100 undergraduate and graduate degree programs, specializing in immersive learning, a unique focus on international education, and small class sizes that allow you to develop meaningful connections. MSSU is located in Joplin, Missouri, the commercial hub of the 4 states area, where Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas meet. I'm your host, Alex Boylan, and over the next half hour, we'll explore the campus of Missouri Southern, hearing from students about how their experiences here are helping them develop the knowledge and leadership skills to go forth and roar as they enter the job market. Each of these students has a story to tell and are excited to share how becoming a member of the Lion community is shaping their future. At MSSU, Lions Together isn't just a catchy hashtag, it's a way of life. Welcome everyone to Missouri Southern State University. This is the College Tour. For more than 25 years, Missouri Southern has been committed to its global mission, providing students with a wealth of opportunities to expand their global and cultural horizons. From annual themed semester activities to study abroad opportunities, you can experience the history, art, music, cinema, and cuisine from well beyond the U.S. border. You'll find many international students furthering their education at MSSU. Students like Jana, a senior marketing and PR major from Finland. Jana, you are up.
Kiitos, Alex. Hi, I'm Janna Hautala. I'm an international student from Lahti, Finland, from the land of thousand lakes. I came to Missouri Southern in 2018 on a track scholarship. When I first arrived in Joplin, I didn't really know anyone or much about the university, the city, or the region. But what I found was a school truly committed to the international experience, not only for students coming here from overseas, but for everyone on campus. While I'm far away from my family, MSSU makes me feel like I'm right at home. This is a very close-knit campus where the faculty members know you by your name, which makes the university experience even more memorable. Volunteers from the campus and community partner with the international students by taking us to local and regional trips such as hiking, camping, ice skating, or trips to museums. Every fall, Missouri Southern celebrates a different country by theme activities, including art, food, music, films, and lectures. Fall 2021 was the Japan semester. While I've been here, we also celebrated the Caribbean, the Oceania, and my favorite, the Nordic semester. Another major international themed event is the World Music and Cuisine Festival held each spring. This community event offers a great variety of international music and the chance to sample food from around the world. No matter what part of the world you're from, Missouri Southern is home away from home, where you will make friendships that will last for a lifetime. Alex, with your travel experience, which country do you think MSSU should celebrate next fall semester?
Welcome back, dear audience. For those who are just joining us, we are on Window on the World with Grace Chang, a student here at MSSU, talking about her home country, Taiwan. Welcome back, Grace.
Thank you.
So, in the previous vlog, we discussed about your country, but now we would like to know about here, your experience here in the United States. Could you tell us, for starting, which were your expectations before coming?
Right. My expectations is more like people are more freer here, like they don't have certain rules, that very restrictions, especially comparing to like Asian culture. Probably the relationship between peers and also between teachers are more casual. That's what I expected, and I've also heard a lot about small talk. So yeah, I just feel like the vibe is more relaxing and like kind of like that.
Was it the first time you visited the United States?
You mean last fall?
When you arrived here?
Not really. I came here for a couple of times since probably first grade in elementary school, but it has always been like just short-term stay, only for a month or two. Huh. Yeah.
Well, I won't call it that exactly short, but yeah. Anyway, how would you describe your experience living and studying here so far?
Well, I would say it's pretty good. I was really surprised how fast I was able to adjust. So definitely I would say there are culture shock at first. Like for example, how fast people talk, and then also the things they talk about since I didn't grow up here. So maybe the pop culture or some kind of movies or like any kind of entertainments that's like, I have no idea what they're talking about. But yeah, I'm keeping up with the pace and then joining their conversation, so I feel much more confident now talking to people.
Well, I can tell by experience you are very confident when talking.
Thank you.
Yeah, so which would you say what has been your favorite part so far?
I would say making friends over here, yeah.
Oh. Well, and in the negative side, is there anything you will change about your experience so far?
You mean like the school experience?
Yeah, no, like the experience living here in general. Is there something that you don't like and would you change?
Yeah, that would probably be owning a car. I don't have a car currently, and I think that especially in more suburb region like Joplin, it is a problem. Without the public transportation, I feel like I'm always forced to like stay on campus even when I have like free time to kind of like go out or hang out with friends. So yeah, that's one thing that I really want to change, to get my license here, driver's license here in Missouri, and then like get a car and be able to go around at my free time.
Well, my only advice for that thing is really prepare a lot for getting your driver's license. Yeah. To me, it took me almost more than a year to get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I was out of practice, so it was kind of difficult, but I got it at the end.
Yeah, congrats.
And also about the car, curious thing, depending on how the things are, you will probably like it pre-owned or new. Sometimes they are gonna be the same price.
I don't really think they would be at the same price.
Well, it sometimes happens, trust me.
Well, if that's the same price, I would just take the new one. But in my expectation, in order to get a car in a low price, I'll probably go for a pre-owned.
Yeah, most of the time it's gonna be pre-owned.
Yeah.
And tell us, what about your family? What do they think about you studying here?
Right. I think they're pretty supportive, especially because my elder sister also came here too, but she came here a lot earlier than me. She came here during her high school years, but because it's sort of a norm in our family to kind of travel abroad, so they were not really worried that I have to study on my own over here. Yeah.
I see. And continuing with this thread of your family, tell us, how is your relationship with them?
Right, I'm really close with my family, but if you want to choose between my mom or dad, it's definitely my mom. I mean, for sure. Yeah, I would still contact her pretty often, even over here. Sometimes a call every day when I'm not busy, but definitely when I'm busy, probably it takes a few more days to call her again, but yeah.
That's interesting. Also, you have your both parents, and how many siblings?
I have one elder sister. Yeah.
What about your extended family? Did you get along with your cousins, your grandparents?
Right. I'm pretty close with my grandma. My grandpa passed away a few years ago. Yeah, and also my aunt and uncles, they're like really nice. And yeah, so sometimes when we have time during the weekends, we'll visit their house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Have you visited your family at least once since you have been here?
Right. So last winter break, I went home, which is really nice.
Wow. How was that? How was that trip?
It was really good. Yeah. Me and my family first. So this is like something off, but yeah, my sister is currently not in the United States. She's studying in Europe. So we had a family trip over in Europe, short vacation in Europe before returning to Taiwan. And I get to meet with my friends again, which is really nice, and also my high school teachers, and they're really happy that I'm back too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, well, it's very important to stay close with your family. That's something that I understand completely.
Right.
And would you say that people in your country are usually close to their families?
Yeah, I would say this is really a traditional, like a culture thing that we stick together a lot. And then no matter where you are, the bonds are still there. And then, yeah, family is where you turn to every time you have a difficulty situation. Yeah.
I see. It's good to know, because, that's something that actually there are many differences between countries about how close they are to their family.
Right, yeah. But I think like Asian countries, I can't really say for other Asian countries, but definitely for Taiwan or China, we're really known for like being close and bonded with family, especially like during Chinese New Year, you'll see how family had the reunion dinner, so yeah.
Yeah. I would say pretty much every culture has that day on the year in which everyone gather around. Yeah. Well, going back to your experience here, tell us, how did you find about MSSU?
That's a really interesting question. So my dad has a friend in New York, and then their daughters are also like considering, they're older than me, so then they have also considered coming to MSSU, and then they sort of introduced MSSU to my parents, and then to me. So it's more of also because we have some kind of healthcare programs over here, and I'm going to pursue the healthcare field too in the future. That's one of the attractions that why I came here.
Got it. And that's also what made you that's what made you decide to come to Joplin, right?
Right.
I see. Well, your hometown, it's big or small city?
Tainan?
Yeah.
It's a relatively big city, I would say. Yeah.
How many inhabitants?
That's a good question. I am so unsure about that, but I can tell you the whole Taiwan probably has, wait, let me count.
Let me count.
230 million? Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
23 to 24 million people.
Okay.
In the whole Taiwan, but I can't tell you how much in Tainan.
Okay, sorry for making you that question. What I wanted to say about that is like to conduct, because here Joplin is kind of a small city.
Right. Then I can definitely elaborate on that because we're a really small island, and with 24 million people, the majority is concentrated on the East Coast. So I would say our population density is really, really high. And so you would see a lot of like tall buildings, and people live really close together.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, so basically you are kind of adapted to big city.
Yes.
Okay. So does that make it more difficult to adapt living on a small city?
Yeah, I would say so, to a certain extent. But I think it got worse without a car. I mean, it feels more restricted in a dorm, but I would say I personally also like to be around places that are like quieter and like with like closer contact with nature. So it isn't that like too bad for me. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I assume that helped a lot to adapt here, right? Mm-hmm. Well, and what do you think about the people here? Are there any similarities between them and the people back at home?
I would say not really, since the majority of the population here is different because we're in a different country for sure. Yeah. And people here speak English, people back here don't speak English, but what they prefer is probably Mandarin. So, but we're all humans, so we help out with each other whenever we have difficulties. So yeah, in that sense, we are similar as humans. But other than that, no.
Okay, but for example, people here tend to be kind of warm in personality.
Oh, I would say, like, once you mentioned that, that's true. Like, that's definitely one of the similarities. People back, especially in Tainan, we are known for being pretty friendly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And do they receive you well here?
Yes, like everyone's pretty nice. When I first came, they all know I'm new to this environment, and then so my friends especially, they really wanted to introduce me to the culture over here in the States. And whenever I have things that I don't understand, they would explain it to me. Yeah.
And also, what about food? Do you like the food here?
I probably don't know what's special about the food, probably in Joplin. But I can totally ask my friends about that. We should have a conversation on what's special, the dishes special here in Joplin, but up till now, I'm not really sure about that.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite restaurant in town?
Well, that adds to the same problem. I don't really have a car, don't really go out, but I do have visited a few restaurants over here, like Magic Noodles. I think it's a Vietnamese place, right? And also probably Japanese steakhouse, I think. I've also been there, and it's also pretty good.
Yeah, they are. Well, finally, would you recommend people back at home, if they have the chance to come to the States to study or at least come as tourists?
For sure. Sorry, I probably didn't hear your question clearly. Is it in Joplin or is it in like United States in general?
Well, United States in general first, and then Joplin in specific.
Right. I would totally recommend people to come here for one. I know a lot of people learn English for a very long time, so by coming here, this is a very good chance for them to, put their learning into practice, talking to people like from the native country, and also establish friends that are, having practiced different cultures than them, so it would really be a good experience-wise. And Joplin, I would also think people should come to Joplin because I just feel like it's more of a different vibe than Taiwan, especially because since I've said that it's more of a suburban area, but I do feel like it's pretty relaxing once you have stayed here for a while.
Yeah, for sure it's relaxing here. Final question. When are you expecting to graduate?
Right, I'm graduating probably on 2026, May. Yeah.
Well, then I think there's still some time left. Nice.
Yeah.
Sadly, what doesn't have many time left is this edition of Window on the World. Talking about Taiwan. Anyway, we will talk more in another time, so thank you so much, Grace, for being here with us and tell us about your country.
Yeah, thank you. I'm willing to share.
And thanks to all of you who watched this edition. I was your host, Hector Moreno. I'm leaving for now, but you should stay and keep watching KGCS TV. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye!